everyone, Faith Howard Mooney from TMC, and this is Inside the TMC Family. Today, we have the one and only Victoria DeLuce, EVP from Success Mortgage Partners. So welcome, Victoria.
Thank you so much for having me, Faith.
As a reminder to everyone, super quick, 4 questions, and then one random question at the end that we'll be asking Vic. By the way, we did not coordinate outfits for this, but we randomly chose similar things. So we're on the same wavelength today. So this should
Great minds think alike, Faith.
Absolutely, absolutely. So Vic, tell me, what was your first job ever?
So I'm going to switch it up a little bit because my first job ever was at a Hallmark gift card store. But my first full-time job was as a telemarketer for a charity. And yes, it was absolutely as amazing as you think it was, except for I was cold calling people, asking them to donate money to a charity that they had never heard of. So, but you know what, I will say I learned a ton from that job, and I did it for 9 months, 40 hours a week, calling random people. And it actually plays into my career today. So yay for that.
Awesome. That's a tough job for a first job. Share with me though how you transitioned from that and then got into this industry and how long you've been in this industry.
So I joined the industry much like everybody else. I just kind of fell into it. I was a stay-at-home mom for about a year, and I needed to find a job. And I interviewed at 4 companies, received offers from all 4, and just took the one that paid me the most. And that happened to be as the office manager for Vice Capital Markets. And that was over 12 years ago now.
At Success, you've obviously been wildly successful, and you're one of our favorite people within the market. But I'm sure there are things along the way that maybe if you knew some things up front, you would have done differently. So what do you wish you would have known when you started your career that you now know that's like so clear now, but wasn't then?
Number one would be just being your authentic self, right? Like I think especially when we start off working and we're young and we haven't really figured out who we are, we're trying to, be who we think other people want us to be. And there's no better person to be than just yourself, just your authentic self. Because I mean, every person, and of course I do try to, I relate to women and what it's like to be a woman in the professional, in a professional sense. And yeah, just owning your authentic self. The other thing that I would say is just knowing your worth and value. When I first started off, I would work so hard and think that I had to be the absolute best at all times, giving 110%, or else I was going to get fired. Like I literally had this mentality, and honestly, I still have a little bit of that as well. And I think it's kind of lent to my success over time, but there's a balance. And so just like knowing your value and your worth, but also you have to balance it. So, and that relationship between employer and employee, it should be balanced as well, right? You have value that you're giving to an employer, and they should value you just as much.
So if you weren't in the mortgage space, which I know for some of us, it's just kind of hard to imagine if you weren't here. But if you weren't in the mortgage space, what would your profession be?
I've thought about this, not because I ever plan on leaving the mortgage industry. It's like, I can't even fathom that. But if I ever did something like on the side that maybe turned into something full time, I would love to run a nonprofit geared towards supporting women, like women of all walks of life. And it could be the single mom that wants to go back to school. It could be the stay-at-home mom that wants to start a small business and just doesn't really know where to go or to find the resources, or maybe they just don't believe that they can do it. I can't tell you how many times I have conversations with my friends or other women in the industry, or just, whoever, my family, and they have these hopes and dreams, and they're just like, but I don't think I can do it. I don't even know where to start. And being able to create something to support that, and empower women to, know that they can do it, and actually give them some resources to achieve that.
You would be just stellar. Well, you'd be stellar at anything you do, but that is something that I could totally see you doing. So, last question. If you had your own late night talk show, who do you invite as your very first guest?
Oh my gosh. This this is really hard. I'm so stumped. Like I don't know. Like for me personally, like I love funny people and I watch stand-up comedy all the time. Like barely watch TV, but if I'm gonna watch something, it's that. So I'd probably say like a stand-up comedian. There's this really smart girl who has a Netflix special, and her name is Taylor Tomlinson, I believe. So maybe it'd be her because I think that she's super witty and funny and smart and makes people laugh.
Fantastic. And I'm going to have to check that out because I don't know who that is.
It's really funny. So it's her special is called Quarter Life Crisis. She's only 25, and it kind of reminds me of when I was 25 and some of the silly stuff that I used to think. So it's pretty awesome.
Fantastic. Now you've just given us something that we can all go find and view over the weekend. So great
Yeah,
tip.
and I'm gonna make sure that I submit this to Netflix for my royalties.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's it. We're done. As always, it is just a pleasure to talk with you. You bring such great energy always to the table, and you've done so much work in assisting our other folks within the network that I wanted you to know we really do appreciate you and everything that you do within the network, and know that we all just are so happy to have you in the Power of the Network with us.
Aw, thanks, Faith. And I mean, absolutely, I'm always a resource to anybody that needs it.